Welcome back to the Business Energetics podcast. I am here with Maren himself, the one, the only, the founder and owner of Sabbya in Montreal. You might have seen them. They're taking the entire street. This is a revolutionary medical aesthetic slash spa slash everything you could even imagine you'll be needing to feel beautiful, healthy, and well. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. That's too many flowers. I appreciate it. I'm blushing already, but thank you. Thank you for taking the time to do this.
My pleasure.
Welcome to Sabbya as well.
Thank you so much. So Maren, you are telling me that I'm giving you too many flowers, but can we talk about how it is to build this amazing facility at such a young age? What got you into the entrepreneurship journey?
I've always been, I think I would say, a bit creative or out the box. But what I think makes me an entrepreneur is my interest in so many different fields, so many different aspects. So it was a combination of opportunity and kind of need to get out and do something different that brought the first idea to my head that I would like to take my first stab at innovating. I would like to start this by saying that I'm lucky, I'm fortunate. I have a very loving and supportive father and family who have given me this opportunity to go and pursue this. And it's with their support that I'm able to capitalize on and capitalize on their opportunity, capitalize on whatever creativity, innovation that I do think I have. So I have a good role model to look up to is a father, a friend, a mentor, boss in many different ways. But yeah, so there is an opportunity here that was to innovate. I think it was a lot of people's stories start in COVID these days.
Definitely.
And wanted to do. There's been a gap in my opinion in this industry where medical aesthetics lacked wellness, lacked hospitality, and I wanted to go in that direction and explore it.
I love it. So, what would you say to someone who, they want to launch themselves into entrepreneurship, but they don't necessarily have the family support? How would you tell them to navigate when we don't have the support of our friends or family or everything? How do you get yourselves to do things that are quote unquote impossible or unachievable or unattainable?
It's a tough question because my answer might come from a place of a little bit of privilege, but in my past, I grew up in Syria, a war-torn country, in unfortunate circumstances. So there is the up and down of the fortune and the misfortune that I've experienced. And what I would answer your question with is just to, like you were telling me earlier, to ask and try again and keep knocking the door and knock again and knock again and knock at so many different doors. Yes, I have opportunity, but a lot of people look at me with the external shell that I have, which is my age. I lack the business acumen. I lack the experience in the eyes of people who are well established in their, 40s, 50s, or companies that have been around for a long time. And when I'm going to knock their door to try to collaborate with them, it's a question mark that they always put on top. So what I end up doing is I keep knocking the door and knocking the door. So an example that I could bring to you is the Four Seasons, or all the hotels that we've been working with. It's they didn't know who I am. They were wondering. There is this new place in Montreal that keeps knocking their door, and they're generally always very much solicited. Until I was able to break into one of the other smaller hotels, Place d'Armes, I think. They're a newer hotel they renovated recently, and through a relationship that I built with their team, I was welcomed to kind of speak at the Golden Key Society, Le Clé d'Or, where it's kind of the association for all the concierge here. Of course, it's the Montreal chapter, but there are so many around the world. And I was able to go in and speak to two different so many, like, I think there were 40, 50 different hotels there at the same time.
Okay.
So I was able to speak to them, etc. And to answer your question in a long story, it's to keep knocking, keep asking that question, keep trying, keep going. And I guess you and I see similarly on this. I think your story you shared with me earlier is very resonates very well with me, of like, keep asking for what you want to achieve, and
until you get it.
until you get it, no matter the opportunity you have. So
I love it. And where is the line? So sometimes in the entrepreneur journey, we have roller coasters. We have moments where it's a high, a little bit lower. How do you know if it's an opportunity to keep going or if it's a sign to give up? A lot of people are kind of mitigated between the two.
I mean, there is what I have is some sort of a little bit of an intuitive feeling on what, like, the extent of the return on investment for something like this. So it's not really give up. I wouldn't position it as give up as much as, is it worth it, or is it taking away time from another opportunity that I could be investing myself in? I have an employee. I don't know if she want me to say her name, but she's incredible. And towards the last days before we opened Sabbya, so let's say June of 2023, we were still hiring for our reception team. We're still trying to build a team together. And she sent her CV, sent it twice, sent it to my colleagues, sent it to the head office, came and knocked at this door. We were closed. We were in the middle of cleaning up towards the end, and came and knocked at this door and kept knocking. And she kept asking, she's like, "Hi, I would like to be considered for your receptionist job, and I would like an interview right now. What do you have going on right now? I'd like an interview." And doesn't matter whatever opportunities or not, or privileges that she may or may not have, this is the perseverance of somebody wanting to do something. They walked, knocked the door, and kept knocking the door until they got the end. She's with us since we opened, basically around that time.
She's still here today.
Yeah.
I love that. And I want to touch a little bit more on that. I want to circle back on what you just said. And I want to take you back to the moment where you had the idea, let's open in Montreal. And let's do this here. What were the feelings you were feeling? What was the energy brewing from bringing an idea into life?
I don't know if I can pinpoint a moment per se that I can associate a feeling to. Of course, there's a moment that we sat back down. We're closing a meeting. We stood up, and then, if you will, there's a eureka moment, or what about medical aesthetics mixed with a spa? And all of us in the meeting sat back down, and we're like, okay, let's discuss this. The meeting was coming to a conclusion. It was 9:30 p.m. We were chatting. We were done. It was like, okay, this idea that we've had before was not, was not going to go in the direction that's, interesting for us. It came up with the idea, and we sat back down, and that was the moment. Of course, I was in the conversation, in the discussion. If I sit back and I reflect on how I felt then, I felt I would say it's like a rush all over my body of excitement. Okay, another breath in, let's do it. Let's take a stab at this. And this is the easiest part of innovation.
So you felt it in the moment, something clicked, because there is a book by, I believe it's Elizabeth Gilbert, which is The Big Magic.
Okay.
And she has the concept that ideas are living beings, a little bit like fairies, and they go to the people that can give them life.
Okay.
So what you're feeling right now, it reminds me of this book where it came out of nowhere at a moment where everybody was leaving, and it felt home.
It felt like a new breath. It felt like, okay, let's try this again. Let's take a stab at this concept. And we sat down. The concept was all over the place at the beginning, and you had to shape it, and you had to kind of hone in on exactly what is best and how we can really mix hospitality with medical aesthetics in a way that's not done before.
It has never been done. Honestly, you guys have to Google the company. If you're in the Montreal area, you have to try it out, because I've never seen anything like it. it's everything you'd imagine it to be.
Thank you.
I remember because we have Catherine, who's going to be in another episode, who hosted an event here.
Yeah.
And first of all, I've never seen events hosted into a spa.
Yeah.
That in of itself is amazing. So there's like two things I want to touch on. But also, when we were welcomed, it's the best welcome I've ever felt in any event.
Thank you.
I honestly really I want to press that down, because you got to give the flowers to those who deserve it. And the moment I passed this door, I was greeted. Somebody gave me a number. They took my coat. They made sure that it was secured. And then we had a private visit. And mind you, there were like at least 25, 30 people at this event. Like, it was moving. And there wasn't 50 staff members. They were busy. But every time we passed one, there was a smile, there was a greeting, there was warmth. So how do you, as a person, I mean, Syria is very warm. The people, I mean, it's the spices, it's the culture, it's the family. How do you train a team to have that warmth?
There is thank you again. I'm gonna leave with a massive bouquet of figurative flowers that you're giving to Sabbya and myself. And you pointed correctly. It's the team, and I think you asked a question about training, but I would start even before training. And I think, energy is a big component for you, and I take the time to kind of get to know people before they come onto the team, get to know them personally and what they stand for and how they present things and how they do it. So what I've noticed when I was looking into the medical aesthetics field, and to clarify, medical aesthetics and a spa under the same roof, it's kind of this unique standpoint we have. But when I was looking at people in the medical aesthetics field and the experiences that they had, what I saw is two things. Usually a kind of cold, alienated experience that's just dealing with, skin on a surface level, wrinkles,
snobbish, a little bit,
removed from the person, if you will. And the second component is that it wasn't welcoming per se. They were expecting a certain type of client that would walk in who is just another person. It's not me that was expecting the clientele. When I went and I visited different existing establishments here, they're expecting a typical clientele. They were surprised to see kind of a Middle Eastern guy come in. It's not usually the typical clientele that they would see. So I noticed these two kind of deficits in the experience of the client in the industry. And then whenever I remembered that when I was building the team and continuously ongoing. So the training for me, which you asked about, for me starts from the hiring and what kind of energy that people convey to you while you're hiring them. Are they welcoming? Are they loving? Are they passionate? Are they interested in the human behind the concern that's coming forward? Or are they just solely interested in selling and just, looking at the concern, the skin concern from an external perspective rather than involving themselves and getting to know the person? So that's step one. Step two is I personally like to take the time to be very involved and warm and caring towards my team. And I do believe it's one of my strongest beliefs that if the team is well taken care of, this will automatically convey to the guest. Wow. It will automatically convey if the team is comfortable, if they're welcome, if they're within friends at work, if they're within they know they can go to their leadership and they see warmth from them and they see welcoming from them, I think this will immediately convey toward the guest experience. And I think this is what you felt, because when people were passing by you and giving you smiles, even though they were not giving you your tour, It's because they're happy to see you. They're genuinely happy to see
I
you.
felt that.
I do believe
It wasn't
that.
forced at all.
Exactly. So I think there's an element of this that, of course, we can train and we can work, and the team works hard at evolving, developing themselves. But there's a component of this that you can't train it. You can't train love for people and welcoming people, and
You're right.
you know,
You can't.
welcoming their energy, welcoming them into your space. Kind of, a lot of the team, they take ownership in the guest experience that we offer right here, and we extend medical aesthetics in a hospitable way, in a way that takes care of the human behind or beyond the concern that they come in facing.
It's so interesting because we're in a period of time when this is filmed where employers are having trouble to hire people and to hire good staff and people that actually want to work. I keep hearing that nobody wants to work these days, to quote some people.
Yeah.
But to see here that
I
people
disagree.
come with joy and warmth and the persistence that, for example, the person that was giving you their CV over and over and over again, it shows a willingness. And so do you feel there's a false narrative right now being pushed?
I do. I think when somebody says people don't want to work, I think there needs to be a little bit of reflection whether people don't want to work or people don't want to work in the environment that's being presented. Our team, I do believe that they enjoy their work. They love their work. They're working with something that they're passionate about, and they love their work environment. They love their team, and they're working together and supporting each other. So they do want to work. Everything indicates that they do want to work. And I was talking about this with a friend of mine, and I get asked this question a lot of like, how do you do a work-life balance? And
interesting.
And to me, I don't see the like dichotomy. It's not a work-life balance. I think work is part of life, and life overall is balanced. When you love what you're doing, when you're doing something, again, I'm fortunate, I'm lucky, I'm doing something that I want to do and I'm passionate about. It's not work. I'm not working. I'm just living.
That's honestly, there's so many quotable moments. Because you bring such a fresh perspective, and at such a young age, you have so much wisdom, and it's just honestly, it's mesmerizing.
Thank you.
But I want to know. You have mentioned, and I know that people don't really like to talk about what they're doing behind the scenes to give back, but we had a conversation around you giving back to some foundations in Montreal, in Quebec. And I want to know, where does that will for philanthropy and giving back comes from? At such a young age, you could, let's be honest, you could be like, oh, this business is working well. I can buy myself the car I want. I can do whatever. I can be on vacation every single day. But you decide, no, I want to make sure my staff is good. I want to make sure I give back to society, especially during the holidays. Where does that come from?
I think it would circle back to the same narrative as like work-life balance, and I will link it for you. I believe life is a community, and we are a part of a community. We're all here together. We're all living our separate lives together, and everything intersects together. So I don't see it as giving back as an action of, oh, I have to give back. I see it as I'm living as a part of a community, and I'm sharing my experience, sharing whatever I have access to with others to the extent that I can. So, recently we sponsored the gala for Fondation Emergence. It's a leading foundation in the LGBTQ community for rewarding kind of social action that's in the LGBTQ world, and they're giving awards and recognizing people who are fighting for causes that they believe in, that we believe in. Sponsored the event in just I was a guest. Sabbya is kind of a year or a few months old, so we're not necessarily in a position to give massive financial gifts, but what we are offering for people is a moment to come and experience taking care of themselves. And that's what we were gifting. Even if there is no check that will be written today, and eventually, of course, checks will be written. But what we can always offer is, hey, Sabbya is a space for you to take time for yourself, take care of yourself, and reward yourself for, living. As part of this living that you're doing, this kind of allow somebody to take care of you, allow yourself to take care of yourself. And we gifted a lot of the guests experiences at Sabbya to come and have a conversation with a medical professional, see whatever concerns they have, to have a massage and relax a little bit, get off their feet that they're working on a daily basis, spend some time at the thermal area here in a little bit of quiet and a calm. And so, yes, I don't see it particularly as giving back as much as I am sharing whatever experience I've built with the community that I'm surrounded with. I mean, we were at the heart of the village. People worked very hard, much harder than I have, to build this community. And I want to take pride in being in the community that's, the village, the Montreal, the Canadian, was given an opportunity to come to Canada and leave a unfortunate circumstance in Syria. And I want to be part of this community, and I am. So
you are,
this
definitely.
Is,
and you're spreading the warmth and the self-care. So thank you for that. I love that. I want to know, before we wrap everything up, I want to know, do you have a special routine, morning routine, before bed routine, something that puts you into the entrepreneurial spirit, but also keeps you grounded? Because your energy is very grounded. It's very at ease, which I'm pretty sure aids in your decision making, probably. What is your unfair advantage, or your little routine that you're doing, or your je ne sais quoi that you add in your day to stay grounded?
So until very recently, I would say maybe a year or so ago, I wasn't as kind of grounded or as tame, if you will. But because, energy was pulling me in so many different directions. I wanted to do this, that, and the other. And of course, there are still sometimes that this comes up, and it's not at all a negative thing. I wouldn't think of it as such, but the groundedness I think I've started to be able to develop is associated with a routine that I've developed. And for me, I wake up at 6 a.m. Naturally, usually between 6 and my alarm's at 6, but sometimes I wake up between 6:15, 6:30. I wake up, wash my face, get dressed, and go to the gym immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, the gym is my best friend lately. It's time for myself with my music and some weights, sometimes heavy, sometimes light, and enjoy. That's the time for myself. Finish, go back home, shower, eat, get dressed, and go to whatever work I have. And I think the moment that I have at the gym and the moment that I have in the car are at the gym is to ground my body. In the car is usually to ground my mind, see what the day ahead of me is, and get in the zone. And usually my days run like this until say 9-10 p.m. whenever I get back home and cycle begins again.
Wow. So that's so
nothing out of the ordinary, nothing unique. I don't. I do consider gym my meditation. It's usually a body experience, kind of to ease the mind, and then driving usually my mind experience to ease the body, vice versa.
I love that. Do you have a go-to training? Like, do you do more HIIT or weight lifting or cardio? Is there a thing you like to?
So I went through a journey of weight loss,
really?
and to kind of gain back control of my body. I was at around 300 plus pounds.
Wow.
And through a long journey, I lost quite a bit of that weight, and I'm comfortable in my body now. I'm able gaining back my functions. My back doesn't hurt anymore. I feel good. I'm active. I'm energetic. So right now, my training is shifted towards more weightlifting and strength training, towards being able to, build for a healthier future and maintain my organs. Try to do the best I can for myself. It's a form of self-care. So mostly weight training. I do some boxing, play some basketball. I'm bad at all of them, but I think the enjoyment I get is from doing the activity itself. I think this is where the fun comes from. So
I love it. And do you have anything you want to tell? It could be a younger version of yourself that had aspirations, or that was in a moment of uncertainty. They had a dream and they felt like, am I dreaming too big? What would you tell that person that has an idea that has visited them and they want to execute? What do you wish you heard in these moments?
It's a cliche, but I would have liked to hear that, towards if I'm dreaming too big. If I ask myself that question, the answer to it would be, you're not dreaming big enough.
Ooh, I love that.
I do believe that things are defined by their opposites. So, and there's joy that comes from success. There's joy that comes from failure. There's joy that comes from opportunity. There's joy that comes from lack thereof. And I think to cherish those moments both equally, to appreciate those moments both equally, is very insightful. And I've learned that recently. And I think this is something that I always like to remind myself of in moments that are down, that this is what makes moments that are up as substantial as they are.
I love that so much.
I don't know, a little bit of a cliche.
No, it's okay. We need these reminders. My question is a cliche in and of itself, but it's because I believe we have to be reminded over and over and over and over again, especially in these moments of doubt. To have that repetition overpower the forces that are trying to stray us away from our paths is the best thing we can do. So definitely encourage you guys to listen over and over and over again to that. Maren, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
So many large bouquet of flowers. I thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me. And good luck.